Alright, I'm going to teach you how to put Teflon tape on a tank fitting. So first things first is let's get the Teflon tape I'm using is about probably a little bit more than a 1/2 inch over, so it's not too thick. And if you look how I'm holding the Teflon tape, you see I'm holding it with the Teflon on this side rather than on this side. So we don't want it like this, we want it like this. Okay, so what we're gonna do is put our finger. I have too much excess right here, so let me pull it back a bit. So what I want to do is with one hand, one finger, hold the thing tight, and then I'm gonna wrap it, making sure not to cover that hole. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I wrapped it 5 times. And then afterwards, I'm gonna just make sure it's all clean looking, like that. So if you look, we have our Teflon tape, plumber's tape, all the way on there. So if we remember, just to go over what we did again, hold it like this, and then grab it from one side, holding tight, and then we wrapped it around 5 times. So after that, we have our what your tank valve should look like this, or it'll have a bigger opening and then an adapter inside of it. So what you want to do is to tighten it on. Tighten it all the way. If you look how hard I tightened it, it's pretty much almost level on there. And then you would install your tubing, and then it'll be all good. So if it continues to leak even after the 5 times you ram it, you put it around, I would say is put more around it, so that way it has a tighter seal. So if this 5 doesn't cut it, add more. And this should be just a quick reminder that so we're going this way, because when you tighten it, we tighten this way to the right, so that if we go the opposite way, let's say I go like this and then I wrap it around that way, counterclockwise, we end up with it on the opposite side of the thread, and then when trying to put this back on, it'll be kind of a mess. So remember, clockwise when you're wrapping it up, so that way when you do this clockwise, it won't unravel while you're putting it on. So those are some basic steps on how to put a Teflon tape onto a tank. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, I'm sure it's not too difficult. I would just practice maybe on maybe a dowel or something to wrap it around. If you mess up, usually a hobby knife can cut off all the Teflon tape here, so just be careful to cut it all out if you put too much on it. I'm trying to think of anything else that might occur in this situation. So I think that's it. It's not too complicated. Real thing is only putting your hand on here like this so it holds it, and then turning it clockwise so it wraps around. I did it 5 times. You may need to do it more depending on how much if the water is still leaking off of it, because Teflon, a lot of Teflon tapes are all different. There are blue ones, there are white ones. Like the white one I have here is it's pretty thin compared to a blue Teflon tape. So with white Teflon tape, I usually add a little bit more wraps around. Blue tape, it's thicker, so you don't have to put as much. I'd still put down 5 to make sure it's tight. And then very important, very important, when you're doing this, when you're wrapping it around the Teflon, the tape, make sure you do not cover this hole, because if you cover the hole, then water won't be able to get in. So when you're wrapping it around, make sure you do not cover this hole. So if it's if the Teflon tape is very large, like it's like 1.5 inches or whatever thick, if it's like a super thick Teflon tape, like 1 inch thick, it's going to be much more harder to try to stop the Teflon tape from covering that hole. So yeah, just make sure you don't cover up that hole with the Teflon tape, and just wrap it around and you should be fine. Just make sure you tighten it all the way. See, mine's pretty low down there. So that's how it's done. Obviously, if any questions come up, you can always contact me. And I'm gonna sign off now, and thank you.